captain has personal relations with the members of his own barangay.
Correct. That's why it's called barangay system, because we know its order more or less. But it didn't happen, and the justice system and barangay level was, rendered inutile. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mang Hernan.
Jennifer and Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for calling, Mang Hernan. You know, it's always good to hear from Mang Hernan, Jennifer. And now, for the first time, we've actually interacted with Mang Hernan. He's a very intelligent man, and he's very, very... What grabs Nikki and I, though, about Mang Hernan, and we've often said this on the air and off the air, is that he's so... he really is... He's a very conscious citizen, you know, and he really does his best to get involved and make things better for other people. And Mang Hernan, you know, at times he'll reveal that he's a little bit older. He's not exactly a spring chicken, but he's not old, but he's just not he's a little bit older and he has more experience. And the thing is, like, he really shows how much he cares. Like, he gets involved in many issues. He's a very he's very social and public service minded.
We actually need more citizens
like
him.
Citizens like Mang Hernan. So thank you for calling in. Do you have any other things to say about the issue that he brought up before we go to court annex meditation?
Not much. I think Mang Hernan pretty much covered everything about the barangay conciliation.
Have you ever like witnessed any barangay conciliation cases yourself?
Well, as lawyers, we are prohibited from assisting clients during the barangay conciliation.
Because it has to
hearings.
Be amongst themselves,
yes.
really. Okay.
It has to be like a personal confrontation among the parties themselves, because it is the theory of the Congress who enacted that law that the lawyers actually prolong the negotiation process because of legal matters.
When was this enacted? Would you know the barangay conciliation law?
I'm not really sure, but I think in the 1980s.
Okay. So you're not allowed to attend, but
yes.
do you know of anyone who's experienced this also, like at the barangay level? Aside from no.
No,
okay.
not
all
really.
right. Okay, so we'll go to court annexed meditation. Mediation. Maybe I need to meditate. That's why that word is stuck in my mind. Okay, what is mediation and what is court annexed mediation? What do you mean court annexed?
Court annexed mediation. Basically, court annexed mediation means that that stage of the pre-trial process wherein the court directs the parties to attend mediation hearings before the Philippine Mediation Center. During the mediation process, the parties are given an opportunity to give proposals to each other for the purpose of amicably settling the case without going through the rigors of litigation.
Okay, but this is still a court process.
Yeah.
But so the parties are given a chance to settle it amicably, but it will be noted in court that they settled. So there will be a public record of it in court.
Yes. The parties, if ever they agree on particular terms of a settlement, yes,
that's a big if. Yes.
They will be asked to execute a compromise agreement, and then the compromise agreement is submitted to the court. By the mediator. The mediator is not a judge. He is an accredited mediator.
This is what I was gonna ask you now. What is the Philippine Mediation Center? Where is that located? Do people have to actually appear there? Do they have satellite offices? How does this happen?
The Philippine Mediation Centers are usually just a room located inside the Hall of Justice.
Okay.
For example, if it's in the RTC, it's located somewhere near the RTC courtrooms so that it will be convenient for the parties to attend.
Okay, so it's not just one
hearings.
place. People don't have to panic. Like it's like the courts. They're present everywhere. So there's a regional or local version of it.
For each RTC, there is a particular PMC or Philippine Mediation Center. But right now, actually, not all RTCs or MTCs have PMCs. We have pilot courts wherein the mediation mechanism is still being tested.
Oh, okay. So we're trying new things also. Okay, we have pilot courts. Okay.
Yes.
That's
basically,
that's
I think in Metro Manila we have PMCs in Metro Cebu, Metro Davao, in the key cities of the Philippines, like Tacloban, Bacolod, and I think in General Santos City there's also
in General Santos. Okay. But in
Philippine
other
Mediation Center.
places, they're still piloting it and
the Supreme Court is still studying whether to expand. Yeah, the PMCs.
Do you see a lot of cases going to mediation and being resolved in mediation?
Yes, actually we have experiences in our law firm wherein cases are being resolved at the mediation stage, and it's actually fulfilling for a lawyer to be able to assist their client to resolve their controversies in the soonest possible time, and also because it costs a lot to go through like a decade of litigation. So they're very thankful that during the mediation stage that the case is already settled.
Yeah, and this is one thing I noticed with your firm, with NDB law offices, that you don't just encourage people to sue and go to, you encourage them to, kind of, there's a balance there, like if you can resolve it during mediation, you do so, so that you also don't lose a lot of sleep. It's not just the cost of money, but the cost to your health and your peace of mind. But also, I've noticed that you guys are, if you're in the right and you're looking for justice, and the other, because sometimes the other party won't cooperate, even if they're in the wrong, then you have to pursue it. I wanted to ask you though, what cases are excluded? What criminal and civil cases are covered or excluded by mediation? What cannot be mediated? What has to really go through the whole process?
Usually all kinds of civil cases are mediatable, but there are certain cases which our laws specifically prohibit from being settled through a compromise agreement, such as annulment of marriages. Since the state has an interest in the to as much as possible preserve the marriage of
which is in the 86 Constitution, to preserve the oneness. So
the family.
So what else? The family code. So
well,
what?
Of course, heinous crimes cannot be mediated, like murder and violation of the the anti drugs. Well, drug-related cases are basically not mediatable. And then, but otherwise, most cases are mediatable. So for those persons who have pending cases and they know deep in their hearts that they really don't have a valid defense, then perhaps they can give mediation a chance
and settle it already. Especially if you're in the wrong and you know it.
Yes, actually.
So an annulment is an example of a civil case, and a heinous crime is an example of a criminal case. Okay, so those are the basic examples. And then you gave us the benefits of mediation in terms of spending less. Sorry, because we're running out of time. We actually ran out of time today. We're just getting into the discussion. Very interesting. So, well, basically you named it what pretrial is, and it's part of the process. What mediation is, what court annex mediation is, and I'm glad you mentioned the Philippine Mediation Center, and that the courts are trying to encourage this as much as possible, so that the justice system works better, it's declogged, it's more efficient, and to minimize the cost also, and the pain, if you will, to the wallet or the heart or the head or the inner peace.
To avoid also what we call intergenerational cases.
Oh my God, yes. Can you just say something quick about intergenerational cases?
Well, it's just how lawyers actually call cases that has been transferred from like the grandfather and then the father and then the son.
Yeah, they're still suing. It's like
the case is still pending.
It's like a telenovela epic saga of hatred and vendettas, right?
Yes. So maybe at the stage of the grandfather or the father, both parties are still very angry at each other. But then when it comes to the sons, then there's no more hatred, so maybe they can avail of mediation procedures or proceedings to amicably settle the case once and for all.
Okay, well, we're actually time's up, and stay tuned for Jerry Cornejo and not necessarily the news. But before that, before we sign off, Attorney Lizano, I'd really like to thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you, then.
I had fun. I learned a lot. I was glad Mang Hernan called in. It's good to see how our courts work and how certain lawyers like you think and try to look out for the best interest of the client. Do you have any parting shots, anything you'd like to say to our listeners about anything in general?
Anything in general, or in relation to mediation, then I could actually tell our listeners that even if we are head on in safeguarding our rights and going to court to protect our rights, sometimes we have to give forgiveness and humility a chance to end the emotional, physical, and financial consequences of going to court.
And this is still, though, on the cases that can be mediated.
Yeah, on the cases that can be mediated.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Attorney Lizano. It was really my pleasure
Nico.
to have you over today. I'm glad that Nikki sent you. Who sent you? Nikki De Vega did. Attorney De Vega did. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a great co-host. Very enlightening today for me. I learned a lot. I enjoyed. Thank you for listening, folks. Thank you for staying tuned. Don't miss out on Jerry Cornejo's program, which is next, not necessarily the news. You are listening to DZRJ 810 AM, the voice of the Philippines, and it's been a pleasure to be with you for this hour, Attorney Lizano and Nicola Cinto, for Mind Your Own Business. Okay, all right. Thank you. Bye-bye. See ya on Friday.
You have been listening to Mind Your Own Business.